So I want to tell you about alignment from the standpoint of positive psychology meeting computer science, a little bit about how people currently do alignment, which is mostly, I think, wrong. Spoiler, large language models are really optimized, I'll talk in detail, for the short-term, immediate, revealed preference. We heard about that this morning. And they should be optimized in ways I want to talk about for long-term ideal preference. We'll talk about problems there too. I don't think that looks at all like the utility sort of models you just saw. So I'm going to propose an alternate view of how one might do these. To start with something that's widely studied in psychology, people, can you give me an hour time right now? Nope. How about an hour a year from now? Yeah, right? People do hyperbolic discounting. Known problem. I want to argue that large language models are designed through and through to suffer from the same sorts of problems. The pre-training where we predict the next word is, one word ahead, but that's fine, that's all the data we have. The nature of how most large language models now is single conversations. Think of how you use ChatGPT. I'm hoping most of you use OpenAI or something. They rarely have long-term memory. Sal Khan says he'll bring it in. Awesome. Moving in the right direction. I'm with him. And I want to talk a little bit about reinforcement learning, which is entirely done to reinforce immediate feedback. This is very similar to the hyperbolic discounting problem. So how do we do alignment? I'm a computer science. It's my home department. Only half my students are psychologists. Ben Lira, the co-author, is actually a real psychology PhD student. But reinforcement learning. Large language model does something, you say, good dog, do more of it. Bad dog, don't do more of it. Technically, it's a little bit more tricky. The main systems like ChatGPT do reinforcement learning from human feedback. Start by generating a bunch of immediate responses. Here's a prompt, give me an answer. Then pay a large legion of minions to label them, good answer, bad answer. Then take that data set and train a labeling model that says for any output the LLM gives, label it a good answer or bad answer, because we can't afford enough minions. It's a lot of minions to pay for there. Then generate the large language model, generate the responses, use the automatic labeler to label the responses. Those are the immediate responses. And then fine-tune it with reinforcement learning. The details don't matter. What's it all about? Was the immediate answer that was given one that human raters or models of human raters think is good, right? Immediate response. Immediate response. Okay. The other piece that's popular, particularly people at Berkeley, is inverse reinforcement learning, which says, hey, we're going to try and figure out, observe what someone does. What was it that they must have wanted? You got to think about that. Is this a good idea? It's called revealed preference, right? In the psycho. Imagine it was the case that, say, someone could get access to my viewing pattern on TikTok or YouTube. That's my revealed preference. Is that really the thing that I want them to optimize? Right? Again, immediate, not thinking about my long-term goals. Cool. Yeah, I want more cats in it. Yeah, okay. But, in fact, things are even worse, which is there are a class of items called in super stimuli, things which you have evolved to immediately, automatically say, I want these things. Thank you, Dolly 3. These are like better than life. Really more fat, more sugar than can possibly be there. AI is getting really good at producing super stimuli. They're good, aren't they? So, generative AI can produce faces that are indistinguishable by humans from real faces, but are judged more trustworthy. Cool. Yeah. Many people, you've seen it, have generated text which is indistinguishable from text generated by humans. But, group at Stanford, really cool if you then optimize the AI to generate more human-like text. You can have the computer, the large language model, generate text that people rate as more human than text really generated by humans. right? Again, a super stimulus. It's more human than humans. This is a little bit scary. Yeah, sort of cool, isn't it? In your worst nightmare? I don't know. We've heard before about replica, which I find a little bit boring. It's not my super stimulus yet. But I think the next generation of these human chatbot friends are going to be more friendly than your friends, more fun to talk to, more engaging, more interesting, more exciting. They're going to have not just text, but it's really easy to do voice and video now that are really good. It's not just going to be pornography. It's going to be everything. So we need to think a little bit about how to do alignment in a way that's not just doing this immediate feedback. There's a large industry now, by large I mean billions of dollars, trying to align large language models to what people want, but we should think about what that means. Most of the companies out there are trying to avoid having the chatbots do harm. Don't have bad social media be put out there. Lots of red teaming. I picked one small company doing a lot of this. But every company I look at is doing these. How do I prevent the large language models from doing harm? I think that's not enough. It's a good start. But I want, and they call it red teaming, I'd like blue teaming. I just made it up, I don't know. Not just some things that are immediate, don't say something offensive, don't be a racist. Great, it's good to not be a racist. But I want something more beyond that. One of the tenets of positive psychology, not doing harm, is not the same as doing good. I would like to do good. I'm a positive psychologist. So how do people go about dealing with this short-term orientation? One thing you can do, you pre-commit. We tried a big study with tens of thousands of people trying to get them to go to the gym. By and large, the best thing to do, how about you put it in your calendar if you want to go? Change your environment, put those cookies where you don't see them, do something about that. And note this requires not just immediate gratification of eating the cookies, but some sort of long-term system to planning, think ahead, think about what you might want to do, and try and arrange your world to do it. What I would like to see is large language models that help me and help you and help everyone be the people we want to do. If we want to go to the gym, really want to go to the gym? Let's get the computer to try and help us do that. So one simple thing that my colleagues in computer science are starting to do is build in systems that actually will send you reminders, keep track over time, not just a single conversation. But I think the more interesting, more subtle piece is something that really goes by the name of constitutional AI. And the idea is to tell the large language model, this is what I want, right? And traditionally, this is avoiding saying bad things. If you look at Anthropic, they've just got a $4 billion commitment, first billion invested by Amazon, right? This is real money in alignment. And what are they trying to do? Constitutional AI, harmlessness from AI feedback. They're trying to not do damage. Good. Appreciate that. I wish they would do positive things as well. I would like them to work toward ideal preference, not just revealed preference, not just do no harm. Well, one trick that I think is non-trivial is how do you figure out what you should be doing? And these systems in general, someone sits around somewhere in Silicon Valley and says, these are the things that are good, these are the things you should do. I would like to see these personalized toward people. People have different utilities. I think it's surprisingly hard to find out what one's utilities are, your real utilities. Fortunately, there's nice work eliciting human utilities. AIs are quite good at helping people reason through not just what do I think I should want, but what do I really want? And if you take, I went to the doctor last week to get my update, and he said, oh, do you have your advance directive? And I'm like, what? I looked at these questions, and they're surprisingly hard. What are your wishes regarding pain management? Under what conditions would you want life-sustaining treatments like mechanical? I don't know. These are important questions that my doctor thinks I should answer. Probably has a point. I would like an AI to, A, help me elicit my utilities, to do those, and then by constitutional AI to build them into its function. There are now nice functions in GPT. You can put in the prompts about what you want your profile to be. but there's not a lot of system to help you do it, and not a lot of thinking of how to do these longer term. In terms of what we're starting to play with, there's a lot of ways to do planning. In the business world, it's called SMART. In the high school education, it's called WHOOP. What do you wish for? What outcome can you picture concretely would you find? What obstacles, not obstacles in the outside world, what obstacles inside yourself will you have to overcome? What's your plan for it? It's remarkably easy, and Ben did it, my co-author on this, put together a set of prompts. You can then have conversations. I don't expect you to read them. You can have a conversation. The bot walks you through the different pieces, and it can then follow up. How did you do it? What did you do there? How did you get forward there? So, what do I think? AI should be helping you to figure out what your ideal preferences are, help you with long-term thinking, not your revealed preference, which is what's really optimized in the current world, resisting the superstimuli, which AI is going to generate. It's going to make things really worse, right? These great chatbots are going to be so engaging, it'll be great. I would like to see a little more support for system 2, long-term planning versus immediate response. And I think the other piece that's completely missing from the literature, okay, I'm overstating it, but what's your ideal preference? Not just safety, which is great, and which I see 1,000 papers on safety. Not just aligning to the company's preference, which I understand we're in capitalism. Their goal is to make money. That's at least a good short-term goal. Not the average individual, but aligning to your preference. And I try to think of a metaphor for this. If you look at cars, what we have is in the AI world, anti-lock brake systems. They're immediate response for safety, but they're not helping with planning. And I think that what we should be having is something more like Google Maps. Help me figure out where I want to go. Help me how to get there. Guide me along the path as I get there. It is possible. The technology really is there to use these systems to help people define and follow through on where they want to go. And I think that's going to look really different if we do it right from this immediately optimized superstimuli. Thank you.